Where is she? Dante questioned as soon as he stepped out of his car. Miss Mireille is inside, boss. Did the bastard of a boyfriend do anything to her? He broke up with her and left Miss Mireille hurt and heartbroken. As per your orders not to let anyone who hurts her go scot-free, we have captured him and are waiting on your next orders. Dante's lips pressed into a thin line for a short moment. The boyfriend didn't do anything wrong. He only broke up with Mireille, and that was not wrong, that was right. Dante could not tell why, but he knew he was glad Mireille was now single. Let him go. As per your orders. Dante walked past the men into the house, and as soon as he reached the living room, he took in the smell of alcohol. Mireille was seated on the same sofa she had been seated the previous day, and there were 4 empty bottles on that floor around her. There were 3 other untouched bottles. Princess, Dante called, and she looked up at him before giving him a drunk grin. You know you are alcohol intolerant. Dante walked over to her and reached to take the bottle that was in her hands, but Mireille cuddled the bottle tightly. No. I am not giving this to you. She shook her head and then looked at his face again. Dante shook his head at her drunken actions and took a bottle of alcohol too. He walked over to the other sofa and sat on it, opening the bottle. You will get over this soon. I am sure your boyfriend is not worth a tear of yours. Dante took the bottle to his lips. Why? Mireille suddenly cried out. Why won't James let me live my life? You know why he broke up with me? Do you know why Charles broke up with me? It's because of James, and now there is you too. She gulped down some more of the liquid content. I am sure your ex-boyfriend was not good enough for you. James will let you be when he sees that you are safe, princess. I am safe. There is nothing dangerous happening to me. I don't want to be this good girl anymore, she cried. And Charles. I was about to give him my first time tonight. A look of relief swept across Dante's face. Her first time, Mireille was still untouched. You have never had sex? He asked to be sure. I have never. I thought tonight would be. She sniffed back her tears. Would be my first. Good girl. Dante did not mean to say that out loud, but he did, and Mireille heard him. I am not a good girl. She suddenly shot up from the sofa and threw the bottle towards Dante. The bottle flew past Dante's shoulders and crashed to the floor immediately. Mireille gasped, coming to her senses for a second while Dante just watched her with a hard, unfazed gaze that almost frightened Mireille. She scurried over to him. Are you hurt? I am sorry. She stuttered in a drunk fashion. I just don't want to be called a good girl. She broke down and sat on his thighs. Dante felt heat travel through his body and flow into his cock as soon as she sat on him. Mireille cupped his face in her small hands and turned his face to hers. What do I have to do to be a bad girl? Being a good girl is a nice title, though. Why don't you like it? Dante asked, his voice rough and restrained as he tried not to stare at her full lips that was just few inches away from him and tried not to pay attention to the heat that surged through him each time he called her his good girl. I don't like it at all. Mireille buried her head in his chest and sobbed for a couple of seconds before raising her head from his chest with a jolt. You are actually very sexy, Dante, she said truthfully, her eyes admiring his looks from up close. Fuck. Don't use the word sexy for me while you are sitting on me, princess, Dante said to her. But that's the truth. You are hot and sexy, and even though I told you that you are ugly, I actually see how sexy you are and I want to feel your body too. She dropped her hands on his chest and massaged it gently. You are hard. Mireille's eyes widened with pleasant surprise. Isn't this something bad girls do? Am I now a bad girl? Mireille asked, grinding her ass against he. Princess, you'd better stop. Dante's last word trailed off into a half-groan, half-moan as Mireille grinded against him yet again. Mireille giggled softly and reached for his buttons. I am being a bad girl, she grinned, and Dante tried to reach his senses and remind himself that she was doing all of this under the influence, and there was his promise with James too, but right now, his senses seemed to have been overridden by the feel of Mireille. Mireille unbuttoned the first 2 buttons of his shirt and stared deeply into his eyes. Her mesmerizing hazel eyes made Dante lose it. No, Mireille. You are being a good girl for me right now. Dante's hand pulled her in, making their lips collide in an instantaneous wild kiss. Dante dominated the kiss, sucking her lips into his and tasting the alcohol on her lips. He groaned at the intoxicating taste of her lips mixed with the taste of alcohol. Hell. This taste was sure addictive. His tongue slid into Mireille's mouth and he tongue-kissed her, his tongue intertwining with that of Mireille in wild passion. His left hand was on her waist, pressing down on her waist and making her arch her back before he took a better hold of her waist and made her grind him again. Mireille immediately got the message and grinded into him gratefully, feeling his huge erection pressing into her ass. The feeling was heavenly and a soft moan left her throat, dying into the kiss and his mouth. Her body shivered against his and she suddenly could not feel her legs anymore. She was drunk but she knew this kiss was the best kiss of her life. No kiss with Charles had made her feel this way or even half this way. Heat traveled all around her body and seemed to settle in her pussy that was now dripping wet with her arousal. Her body trembled with want as she broke the kiss, her eyes on his wet lips. She stared at his lips greedily, wanting more of his taste though she was now breathless. Mireille reached for his collars and grabbed it. I really want to feel your body tonight, Dante. A good girl or a bad girl, make me whatever you want but make me feel you tonight.
Please download Novels Ago and search the code in the upper left corner to continue reading.